The sacrifice of cattle in honor of Saint Elijah. Translation of an excerpt from the folk culture of the Slavs by Kazimierz Myszyński. The following account of the event was written by an eyewitness, Otto Schrader, a German philologist and linguist specializing in the history of the German language and the reconstruction of Proto-Indo-European culture and languages. Schrader published this account in his 1911 book Die Indo-Germanen. Myszyński quotes the following description in the second volume of the folk culture of the Slavs. Translation by Vitya. In the summer of 1907, I had the opportunity to spend a month in the small village of Kozelma in the Orniets Governorate at the estate of Fortunatov, a linguist and member of the Academy who was as famous in Germany as in Russia. On July 22nd, an excursion was organized to the village of Nam Ivo, situated on the western bank of the Ukshtra. It was the first Sunday after July 20th, that is, after St. Elijah's Day, known in that region as Skop Sunday, because on that day a skop, so a steer, is offered as a sacrifice to the prophet Elijah. Our researchers of religious history noted with astonishment that in Lithuania as late as 1520, during the Reformation, a bull sacrifice was performed by a Vaidilota, a Lithuanian priest-sacrificer. What would they say if they heard that even today, in the age of railways, a few hours' journey from the provincial capital of Petrozavodsk, one can witness such a sacrifice of an animal, performed according to a strictly pagan ritual, only thinly veiled by a Christian veneer? 3 or 4 steers, offered by individual wealthy peasants in accordance with a previous vow, are led before the chapel this Sunday afternoon, slaughtered there and butchered. Then their meat is carried to the lake, and the men from the village cook it in 12 cauldrons set up on the shore. Women may participate in this only as spectators, and when we ask them why they did not take on the cooking, which is, after all, a task suited to them, one replied that the prophet Elijah does not like women, while another explained briefly, "It is not fitting for us." When the meat was cooked, it was carried in the cauldrons to the chapel before the holy images, and there it was smudged with incense lit from the coals used for cooking by the lake. While the incense was burning, the children sang devotional songs. Then the meat was sold in the chapel for the benefit of the church, and what was sold was taken home and eaten there. Subsequently, I learned that in other towns of the Orniets Governorate they even offer a bull to the prophet Elijah on his feast day. Moreover, after the meat is consecrated by a clergyman, a veritable sacrificial feast takes place in a nearby meadow, accompanied by heavy drinking. What significance does the prophet Elijah hold, to whom they show such great reverence? Just as in the writings of the Old Testament he rules over fire and water and rides to heaven in a fiery chariot, so too is he undoubtedly still today, among the entire peasantry of Russia, the true, actual God of thunder, lightning, and rain. In the Orniets Governorate, the greatest reverence for this saint is instilled even in children. Gracious prophet Elijah, they say, calm the terrible storms and grant a quiet dew. He is also the protector of flocks. On St. George's Day, the farmer vows to him, "Gracious prophet Elijah, protect my cattle, keep them healthy throughout the summer, and I vow to you also on the day of your great feast a bull or a ram." And for farmers this prophet is significant, for St. Elijah's Day is, according to popular belief, the boundary between summer and autumn, and at the same time the beginning of the harvest. There can be no doubt that the prophet Elijah once took the place of a pagan god who preceded him.